Okay, now we are talking. To me, this is a great first round matchup. Gosh, I wish we had fans, man. Gosh, obviously the country is not in a great place right now. Our world is not in a great place right now. So you got to take what you can get. I'm just happy that we got basketball. Oklahoma City Thunder versus the Houston Rockets. Boy, this would have been great with fans. So many storylines. From obviously Russ got traded for CP3 in the offseason. Apparently there's no love lost between James Harden and Chris Paul. I love what Chris Paul is doing with those young guys in Oklahoma City. Dare I say Chris Paul is getting more out of some of those young guys than what Russell Westbrook was able to get out of those guys. And I say that respectfully to West because he was great as an OKC Thunder. But I'm looking at Chris Paul get the most out of some of these guys who people thought their careers were over. And then you add Shai Gilgeous-Alexander to the mix, who came over in that Paul George trade. Chris Paul's got this guy set up to be a top 7, top 8 guard in the next couple years. So I'm just saying, I have so much to say about this series in so little time. So let me go here first. Obviously, the elephant in the room is the health of Russell Westbrook. I want to tell y'all this. If Russell Westbrook was healthy, I 100% know that I would be picking the Houston Rockets to win this series. But that is not the case. See, I don't like James Harden leading a team by himself. I don't like Russell Westbrook leading a team by himself. But I like Russell Westbrook and James Harden as a collective. I like the tandem. To me, they hold each other accountable. Their egos are so great. They're such great individual talents. They're obviously both former MVPs that have put up the stats that, you know, you'll love. Their stat lines are going to hold up 50 years from now, what Russ and James Harden have done in their tenure as all-stars in this league. I don't love them individually in the playoffs. And I do love Chris Paul in the playoffs, right? So you factor all that in. Now I got to have James Harden step up and be not only the best player on the court, but the leader in that locker room. I don't love Harden the leader. Ironically, a couple years ago, Harden had Chris Paul as his leader, and I hate this for James Harden. It's starting to become a trend in his career. As great as he's been, he can't get a point guard to stay healthy when it's winning time, when it's playoff time, and at the utmost. Chris Paul's body was not holding up how it is right now. Like, it looks like Chris Paul has rededicated his body this year. Even before the bubble, this was the healthiest we had seen Chris Paul in the last few years. When he got to Oklahoma City, I want to believe that he felt disrespected by Houston and James Harden opting to move on from him in favor of Westbrook. So now Chris is playing some of his best basketball in the last few years. But he's in OKC now. And now Harden's playing with Westbrook, a guy that for the most part, his entire career, he's been healthy. I want to ignore that little injury that Patrick Beverley, when Patrick Beverley reached it and tore Westbrook's ACL one year. Other than that, Westbrook, look at Derrick Rose's career and what it could have been, and look at what Russell Westbrook has been. And you tell me if it wasn't for a guy by the name of LeBron James, we don't look at Russell Westbrook as maybe one of the 3-4 most athletic guys in NBA history, definitely the most athletic and durable guy of this generation. You tell me if LeBron doesn't exist, we don't look at Westbrook and put him on an even higher pedestal than we already do. Now all of a sudden Westbrook get with Harden and he hurt, not ready for game 1. Probably won't make it to game 2. Maybe he's back for game 3 and the remainder of this series, but you don't know. And with all that being said, I am assuming that Russ misses 2 games of this series. That's what I'm assuming. Because if he was ready for, you got to believe, let's just kind of put it back into normal circumstances, right? If things were normal, you got to believe if Russ is going to miss game 1, he probably would miss game 2. And then, you know, when they travel to OKC for games 3 and 4, he probably would have gave it a go, right? So I'm assuming, even though we're in a bubble, that Russ will be unavailable game 1 and game 2. If that is the case, you're now asking Russell Westbrook, who, if he does come back, I do believe we'll get close to 100% just the way he plays. He's one of those guys who ain't going to play on 50% because he goes entirely too hard. So when Russ gets out there, I think we're getting great Russell Westbrook. But when will he get out there? Now you're asking the Houston Rockets, let's say they go down 2 games to OKC, and Harden maybe can heroically pull out one of these 2 games without Russ. You're asking Russ and Harden to go 4 out of 5 against OKC. So Chris Paul athletically cannot deal with Russell Westbrook. But his mind, his mental, at this point in the season, he's there. He's always locked in. He's one of the smartest athletes of all time. And I don't believe he's going to allow a team to beat him 4 out of 5 times as long as he is healthy. So I'm going to have to pick the Oklahoma City Thunder to win this series in 7 games. I cannot believe I'm saying that, but I have never had the confidence in James Harden-led basketball teams. Russell Westbrook-led basketball teams. Them as a collective, yes. I was the guy screaming at you guys that I think the Houston Rockets are the team that you don't want to play in a scrimmage type of scenario, which what we got going on in the bubble, because they're so great. Like, there's not 5 guys that I want to hoop with. I'm just talking about if we go to the gym and we just about to run some games, I want James Harden and Russell Westbrook. But because Russ is unavailable to start this thing, I think Chris Paul is a smart enough leader. He understands it. He gets it. This is the opportunity for this Thunder team. And that gives Chris Paul a lot of leverage. If he's able to lead that Thunder team past Houston, even though Russ is out, man, that is a lot of power that Chris Paul's going to have coming up in the offseason, whenever it is, which he could probably use to either stay in OKC or justify another team trading for him and taking on that $45-50 million that he's going to be making for the next couple years, which means he probably will get one more chance to play for a contending team. I'm going to take the Thunder in 7. I want to know your opinions and perspectives on this one. This is going to be a really fun series, man. Lot of emotions in this series. Not a lot of love lost. Y'all let me know in the comment box below. Who are you picking? The Oklahoma City Thunder or the Houston Rockets? I got OKC in 7.